which they received through no fault of their own. Governor Lulian Guerrero has directed the Guam Department of Labor to continue reviewing waiver requests. Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio says waiving overpayment requests for those who struggled during a time of crisis is the right thing to do. The governor says that a malware attack on the PUA software system about 2 months ago caused some minor disruptions for the Labor Department, but the agency has successfully processed payments for PUA recipients who have already made payments on their outstanding balances. Moving forward, all payments will be issued via check and not through direct deposit. For more information on PUA waivers, contact the Labor Department at 475-7500 or email pua.waivers@dol.guam.gov. And those were your top stories. Now back to Ray with weather.
Here comes the weather. Scattered showers, thunderstorms, also possible afternoon. They say mostly cloudy and daytime highs. About 87 degrees with a heat index. It will feel like 94 degrees, but you got to get out from underneath the clouds and the potential showers and thunderstorms. Mostly cloudy tonight. Overnight lows of about 77 degrees. And that's the forecast that I have for you all the way through this today and tomorrow and then Sunday. It says scattered showers and thunderstorms, and the guys over at the Weather Service said it might even be worse than that next week. We got to watch out for whatever the developments are in this neck of the Pacific. 8:12 in the morning. There it is, news and weather together. Just to note, we are experiencing some issues with the internet this morning, but knock on wood, looks like things might be stable back on YouTube, back on Facebook as well. So hope to see everybody back in the chat, and we'll talk about whatever it is that you think is also going to be interesting. Former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez coming up, and we're going to talk about my adventure travel. Come on, book a trip to Guam. Don't bother staying at the hotel. No, this is going to be adventure travel. We're going to book you at the luxurious Hemlani Apartments. What do you say? And we're going to have the invasive...
Can I have the sweets, Ray?
The invasive treats menu here, so you'll be able to... You know, in Australia, you go and eat in Australia, there are places where you can go and eat emu and alligator or crocodiles. I forget which one they have. And kangaroo
they
and
have
little joeys.
there.
Yeah, and virtually everything that slithers around or bites or stings in the outback, they've figured out a way to eat, and they put it on menus. I think there might be some industrial culinary experts out there that are...
And shark jerky. Did you try that?
Which one?
Shark jerky.
I'll eat it. I've eaten shark before. Brent Tibbetts. What? No.
Does it taste like chicken?
Tasted like more like tuna. There was definitely a seafood flavor in the thing, but apparently I can't remember. I want to say that there was a process that you've got to do in order to make it more palatable and get some of whatever is also swimming around in the sharks. But it wasn't terrible. It wasn't not something that put me in the hospital. I died from. I'm just saying. And I was talking about the brown tree stink fricassee or putting it in the tinactac, and somebody reminded me, and I appreciate this. Reminded me of one of my favorite drinks in the world, and I drink it because every time I drink it around certain women, no, all women, they all freak out. They're all like, "Oh my God, ew, don't do that." It's habu sake. Do you know what is a habu sake? I've talked about it. That's the one with the snake in it.
Okay, I've seen it.
It's so habu is the Okinawan version of the brown tree snake, just as ornery, but also venomous because they've got and their fangs are closer to the front. So if it gets a hold of you, there's a very good chance that I don't think it'll kill you, but make you sick. So the Okinawans decided that feed them and we'll cook with it, and they go. I've been to the brewery where they make habu sake, and it's kind of off-putting because you go in front of this huge vat, and the vat has got this big window on it, and inside has got to be piles and piles and piles of these habu snakes that they have in there.
Oh, nice.
I know you can smell it with your eyes, but I tell you what, if there might still be a bottle of that stuff over at Jimmy's Izakaya. It's not across St. John's anymore. They're down in Tumon. The old Rotary Sushi is the new Izakaya. And tell him that I sent you to try some habu sake. 8:15 in the morning. Former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez right after these.
There's still time to register for fall 2022 classes at the Guam Community College. Secure your seat by logging on to guamcc.edu or drop by the campus weekdays 8 to 5 and Saturdays 8 a.m. to 12 noon. The last day to register is Friday, August 12th. Get your future started at GCC, Guam Community College, providing 45 years of student success by putting students first, mission always.
Is your business ready for digital transformation? The latest Wi-Fi technology is here, and it's Docomo Pacific's WorkPass, powered by Plume. WorkPass unlocks connectivity, productivity, and security tools all in the palm of your hand. Access features like adaptive Wi-Fi, guest and employee networks, evolving AI security, plus so much more. To learn more about WorkPass, visit business.docomopacific.com. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Getting you back to the talk faster. It's the Ray Gibson Show.
Studio time 8:16. Ray Gibson online and back online and on the air. 888-8255 888-TALK. And got the upper. He's been back for a few days, but after a trip and at his age, I like to let him just kind of relax a little bit before we get Uncle Carl Gutierrez back into what's going on and on the air with me. Good to have you online, Uncle. How you doing? Oh, the song.
Back that sunshine. He's bringing back that sunshine. Uncle Carl Gutierrez brings it every time.
It is an absolute fact. Welcome home.
No, thank you. It was a grueling trip, really. The GVB team and the optional tour people and the hotels. We really did a fantastic, grueling job there on the road show, starting at first we had to fly into Narita and then jump onto a low carrier plane, a Jetstar to Fukuoka, and work our way up to Narita again. We went to Fukuoka, then we went to Okayama, then we went to Shizuoka, and that we're really initially on the 1st of August promote the Fukuoka flight to Guam that left there on the 4th of August. And that went very well. We had a lot of our people from here promoting their optional tours. For example, Ricky Woodall was there, and Monty Besa, and others that came there. United Airlines, of course, was there. And Okayama wants a flight out of their place, and the one that really wants to push hard still, because they've got they're only an hour from Tokyo, but they've got a good airport there, is Shizuoka. And we met with not only the governor, but also with the mayor of Shizuoka City. And they all want the flight out. And we had airport people with us. We had J.Q. Kinate, Elfie Koshiba, and Rolinda was with us, and they latched on to it, and they're moving now, particularly with one particular carrier, called Spring Japan, who's got 6 aircraft that used to fly into China, and they don't want to do that anymore, and they're trying to do their ETOPS certification now, and hopefully by the end of the year they'll have that ETOPS certification, and maybe by March starting to fly to Guam. That's Japan Airlines low-cost carrier, and that's what we really need out of Japan, are the low-cost carriers.
Right. And as I know it's grueling because you've been sending me pictures, and it seemed to me like every day you were in a different city with all the folks from GVB, and all of the different meetings that you were having with people. It's interesting to hear the talk about all of these places that would like to establish a circuit between there and Guam. Is there a lot of demand as far as travelers are concerned out of Japan? Are they in a traveling mood, I guess, is the question?
Well, yeah, I believe so. And as they say, you build it and they'll come. And that they've got all the infrastructure in place, and they just don't necessarily want to make that 1-hour train trip to Narita or 1-hour train trip to Fukuoka to catch the flight out to Guam. They really want to move their own straight to Guam, and we've got enough low-cost carriers now in Japan that are really looking to establish one of those cities. And I believe now that we've got Fukuoka, I think the next one will probably be Shizuoka. Although it's only an hour out of Narita, they just wanted to move it out of there. And everyone there right now are pushing it. the governor came out immediately after our meeting and made the TV news and the newspaper news that we're working with Guam right now to hopefully fly out direct to Guam.
Well, looking forward to for some kind of travel. Do we have a sister city relationship with any of those guys?
We do. We have with Shizuoka, and we're strengthening all that, and Okayama as well. And so we're trying. If some of those we don't have, but we are reestablishing some of them. It's been like kind of dormant for a while, if not 3 years, sometimes longer. But they really do want to have that relationship, and it bodes well for Guam to be able to do that. Not only for flying out, but we have relationship for sports organizations. We had some Chamorro people that were teaching in Shizuoka.
Yes.
And they're interested in bringing those kids back here again in soccer and other kinds of sports. And like Patty Bloss has been contacting me. She taught there for 3 years, and she wants to reorganize this whole thing again. And that's the kind of stuff we want to put together by putting a sister city relationship.
Always worthwhile. The big question is next between Japan, Korea, Taiwan. You've been doing a whole lot of traveling in the region. I noticed in the newspaper this morning a notice looking for tourism and marketing operatives in the Philippines. Is that the next fruit that you're going to try to pluck off the tree?
Well, first of all, for that particular contract. It's a 3-year, done every year, and it's expired, and we have to renew that. So it's to have our marketing group there. It's run out of time, so we don't know who's going to be bidding. Maybe the same ones, but that thing is going to be renewed again October 1st. But yes, Philippines is still there. Air Asia Philippines is still very, very interested in flying to Guam. They have their certification to fly to Guam, and we were trying to press them to do Cebu and even out of Clark for the northern part. So yes, that's very active. We've got Charlene Guerrero that's really pressing for this particular market, and more so we've got Mark Magnolia, who has now been tasked to work out the North American market, and Nadine has been meeting with hotels here, airlines, not only United, but maybe Delta and even Korean Airlines or Japan Airlines to have a package tour like we did with Northwest in the past, where you fly from here, you cannot make a connection in Japan, but you overnight at the Narita Hotel,
right,
and then go in the next morning, and they give you these good rates. So we're trying to do that for our military families and also our Chamorro families that are there to come back with their families and make a stop in Korea, make a stop in Japan. And they can do two things at the same time.
Very, very worthwhile. Now, I sent you a report that came out of Expedia. I'm sure between you and Jerry, one of you already had it. But I thought it was very interesting reading. They're going on a quarter-by-quarter basis, looking at what has got to be gazillion Google bytes of data that they are able to pull together based on searches and actual bookings for travelers. And they are detecting that there are new and different kind of travelers out there, talking about accessibility, diversity, however you want to define that, looking for an opportunity to go someplace and have meaningful trips and adventure trips. There are more and more of those kinds of things. So I was looking at that, wondering, how do we line up all of these different demographics and these different traveler desires with packages that will work on Guam. I mean, everybody, if you want adventure travel, Valley of the Latte, right? If you want, and I've been joking, stay overnight over at the Himlani Apartments. I think that would be a big kind of adventure for a lot of people. But there are a new blossoming, cadre of travelers that are out there. And also, cost does not seem to be as much of a factor. I mean, I'd look at the price of an airplane ticket to go someplace and I'd cross my eyes. But there are a lot of people that are saying, screw that, I want to go someplace. And in fact, I want to go even further than I have before. APEC travelers apparently are thinking, London's not that far away, is it? So,
well, first of all, thank you for sending that to me. I didn't have it. I'm not sure whether Jerry did, but I forwarded that. But we do also have a contract with people that monitor these places, and so we are, of course, looking at different manners to do. But just this week they just left, but we brought out a PAM tour from Taiwan, and we brought them to Valley of the Latte and other places. and these are the ambassadors that you're familiar with. But these are really nice Taiwanese ambassadors with great following, and they are going to start promoting Taiwan. They have an inkling that it's going to be opening, sooner than later.
Well, the bunch of CDC requirements are beginning to drop. Still, they want you to wear masks where you can, but they're not asking people to quarantine anymore and making some changes to the way things are working in schools. Former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez and now our traveling spokesperson for Guam. Where are you going next?
Well, we're probably Washington, D.C., simply because we've got one appointment already with the DHS. This has to do with many things, not only with the airlines, but also with Customs and Border Patrol in moving those lines at the airport faster. We were just making comparisons where in 2019, when we had the best numbers coming in, they're moving in fast. They moved faster in 2019 than they're moving now. So we've got already all the people involved at a meeting on the 18th of August. It includes the Guam people. So that we might be able to do something about that, because that's some of the complaints that we get. Was just the lines are just being held up.
What's the wait time now at the airport?
Well, you're supposed to stay within 45 minutes back, right? But I'm not sure exactly what it is, but that's under scrutiny right now with Rolinda and Elfrey over the next few days, so we can have some fresh numbers when we go there.
I remember there was a time before they put more people behind the desk there. There was a time where you've got 4 or 5 planes that are coming in at literally at the same time, 3 or 4 planes coming in at the same time, and it would be backed up. It was common to hear wait times as long as 3 hours.
Yes, but now it's not that long. But we want to just kind of move faster. Actually, when I came in Sunday evening, there were about 6 different aircrafts out there, and I was kind of dreading going through and it was moving faster than I anticipated. So it was good. It's working, but we want to make it work better, because we don't want that complaint, that to be a kink in what we're doing.
Right. 8:27 in the morning, and then there's one last thing is I noted somebody had sent it to me, and I question marked it and bounced it back to you. What is it? A feasibility study? I'm a big fan of taking care of the tourist families that come to Guam, and everybody wants to go up JFK Hill and get to Kmart. And on a day like today, it might be gorgeous weather when they start making that walk up the hill, but by the time they get to the top, it could be raining cats and dogs. And if they don't have an umbrella, literally there's no place for them to go other than to just get wet and wait until they can either run over to Mezclados or cross the street to Kmart and buy some dry clothes.
It's been a year since you brought up that concept, right? And we tried to move forward. We finally got $120,000 for that, but so I came up with an idea to see what we can do with 120, and I sent out that thing that ends today. Yeah. It's like request for interest, right? And we're going to try to say, hey, we've got $120,000. What can you guys do with the $120,000? We're trying to do it that way so we can get it done faster. And we're waiting for, after the close of business today, who comes in with the proposal.
I hope you get a whole bunch of good ones, and I hope we got some great designs to work with. My buddy Frank writing in, I said, I spoke with a Korean visitor complaining about waiting 3 hours to get COVID tests at the hotel.
Yeah, we're working that kink out. Remember, we're working with public health, and now we've hired 11 limited term people that are helping there now at all the various clinics that we have together. But GVB and public health are working as quickly as we can to do it. Sometimes it's the fault of sometimes the tourists that come in the last minute and expect these things to just happen, right? So we're trying to get over that, and we're working with the travel agents also to make sure that they make these people understand that you just don't walk in and expect it out in 3 hours.
Right. Well, I'd heard the complaint from somebody that was actually working down there. I guess there are language issues as well. Not everybody speaks English, and not even everybody speaks broken English. So maybe a little bit more in native signs. He says, I saw a long line at Nico. Why are they not emailing digital results so they don't have to wait and can enjoy their last hours on the island?
Well, we do sometimes.